just like this, but it really hurts my throat, and I don't think I could do it for very long.
Plus, it would probably be really annoying. What's happening, Batman fans? I've been playing Batman for the past couple of weeks. I don't know, when did this game come out? A little while ago. And damn, I've been enjoying myself a whole bunch. And I thought I'd do a little bit of a review to let you guys know how I feel about the game, but also to dispel any hype that you may be seeing from the media, because this game has been getting glowing reviews pretty much from every single gaming media coverage website. And sometimes it's kind of hard to know whether these review scores are real or whether they've been bought. So that's why I do these independent reviews, so I can give you guys a reasonably unbiased view on the game. Now, I've reviewed this on PS4, and I played the previous Arkham Asylum and Arkham City on the PS3. I missed out on Origins because it wasn't developed by Rocksteady, and at the time I didn't really read much good things about it. It wasn't apparently a bad game, it just wasn't supposed to be an awesome game. Having played all three games in the Rocksteady trilogy, I feel like Arkham Asylum was the prototype, Arkham City was the masterpiece, and Arkham Knight is the magnum opus. Stylistically, I think it sits somewhere in between Tim Burton's and Chris Nolan's movies. So it's got that dark gothic aesthetic from the Tim Burton movies, and then it has that techie realism from the Chris Nolan movies. Visually, it's a really impressive game. It runs at 1080p and 60 frames per second, and I have noticed a couple of tiny little frame rate dips, particularly when you're in the Batmobile, but generally speaking, the performance is really rock solid. I feel like this version of Gotham City is more fleshed out than Arkham City was as well. It feels more lived in, even though there aren't really any people around apart from thugs. The world definitely feels handcrafted, and there's lots of nice neon signs and gothic looking buildings. I think the new hardware has obviously allowed the developers to do a lot more, and you can definitely understand why this game isn't on the 360 or the PS3. I mean, there's these awesome Batarang scan sequences that sort of pull out to a wide shot and then zoom straight back into the gameplay, and you can tell that that just wouldn't be possible on an older system. And there's a lot of these really impressive moments in which the game world changes in ways that I haven't really seen before. There are lots of sequences, and I'll try not to spoil anything, in which you talk to the Joker and then the game world kind of changes because you're tripping out a little bit. And I feel like all this comes together to make Batman Arkham Knight feel like the most cinematic game in the series. In terms of gameplay, it expands on the ideas and mechanics from the previous game, so pretty much everything that was available in the last two games is available here, but it's been dialed up to 11. Combat is just as good as it was in the previous installments, and they've added cool new things like the fear takedowns, which feel ridiculously overpowered but also really satisfying at the same time. Something that I really like in Arkham Knight versus Arkham City is I felt like the Riddler missions from Arkham City were really obvious and all over the place, and it kind of detracted from the game world because you just saw these little green question marks all over the place. I feel like these missions in Arkham Knight are a little bit more hidden, and I feel like that makes them more exciting when you find them. Another thing that they've done, which is a bit of a departure from the previous games, is I feel like the gameplay is less reliant on detective mode. In Asylum and City, I felt like I was running detective mode almost 50% of the time, if not more, just because it gave away so much. And although that you can use detective mode, I think they've changed the button assignment, and I definitely feel like the gameplay doesn't lean on it so much. It's not a crutch like it used to be. Now let's talk about the Batmobile, because this seems to be a contentious topic. That's the biggest criticism that I hear a lot of people and a lot of reviews talk about, is that it doesn't really fit into the Batman universe, and that it stylistically conflicts with what Batman should be about. And while I can understand that perspective, I'd have to say that I disagree, because if you think back to Batman Begins and the first time that you saw the Tumbler, at that time I thought, that doesn't make any sense. Batman's essentially driving a tank, and Batman doesn't drive a tank. But by the end of the Chris Nolan trilogy, I was in love with the Tumbler, and I was really sad to see it go. I think also Batman has always been about being able to adapt to the current threat, and obviously in this game the threat has tanks. So what does Batman need? Batman needs a tank. Now, having said that, I do think that it works well in this game stylistically, I'll have to admit that it isn't a huge amount of fun. Like, the tank sections are alright, and driving around the city is fun, but I prefer to zip around as Batman himself. I generally found that I was just using the Batmobile to shoot Batman into the sky, which is definitely fun and never gets old. Now, to address the giant elephant in the room, the bugs in this game. Obviously, there's been a huge amount of noise about the PC port being buggy as hell and performance issues and being pulled off Steam and people being offered refunds and all that sort of stuff. I'm happy to say that the PS4 version is a lot more solid, and I haven't really noticed any issues apart from this one time. Which kind of freaked me out. But apart from that, if you want a game that shows off all the power of your next-gen console, Batman Arkham Knight is definitely the game. So in summary, what do I think about Batman Arkham Knight? If it wasn't obvious already, I really like it. There's so much to do. You've got the campaign, you've got side quests, you've got a skill tree to expand Batman's skill set, there's this huge world to explore, and there's lots of nice little touches as well. If you're really into Batman lore, each character bio shows when they first appeared in the comic series, which I think is a really nice touch. So my personal opinion is this is the definitive Batman experience and the best Batman game to date. If you're a Batman fan and you're on the current gen of consoles, then there's absolutely no reason not to own this. So hopefully my thoughts and opinions have educated you somewhat. If there's anything else that you'd like to know about the game or anything that I said in there that was confusing, which is highly possible because I tend to ramble a lot, just let me know in the comment section below. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for watching and I'll catch you later.